Hi, I'm Dr. Gingrich. I will be your professor this semester for Biology 104, Foundations of Life Laboratory. I just wanted to introduce myself to you because I know in an online class, sometimes it can seem very impersonal. So I want to make sure that you know that I'm here for you. I'm here to help you succeed in this course. And if you have any questions along the way in the course, please reach out to me on the Canvas email. I will be checking the email daily and I will get back to you within 24 hours. Please also know that we could schedule a virtual meeting if you would like. So that is always a possibility if you need some assistance. Each week I will be posting announcements, and in the announcements there will be typically a video that goes over the assignments. So I encourage you to watch those videos so that when you get ready to do the assignment, you can do it effectively and efficiently. Those should help you through that. What I want to do next is to take you over to Canvas and look at the course and see what the syllabus is and some of the layout of the course and some of the policies. So let's go over and take a look at Canvas. So here we are in the class in Canvas. This is the home page. And typically when you go into the home page, you'll see announcements listed here. You always want to check that. Let's take a look at the syllabus. We have the course title and dates here. It also talks about contacting me. You can use your inbox. That is over here. If you decide that you want to schedule a meeting, the meeting will typically be scheduled and then put into this area here called the big blue button. You can read over the course description and the outcomes. The grade breakdown is here. I do want to point out Unity's grading policies because they are standard across the university. If work is submitted 1 day late, there is a 10% penalty off of the grade. 2 days late, 30%, and then 3 to 6 days late, 50% off. After 6 days late, it is not accepted. That being said, if you have an emergency situation that is going to cause you to be late on something, please reach out and talk to me and we can see if we can make an accommodation. There's no textbook for the course, but there are some items that you will need, so please look here and look at this list of items, and then it also will give you suggestions on where you might buy them locally or through a couple of the links here. You're going to need those beginning in week 2, so you want to get them right away. I will respond to emails within 24 hours, so I want you to check your email at least once a day, and I will be checking mine as well. We have discussions in the class, and usually the discussions require 2 posts. Your initial post is typically always going to be due 3 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, and then the reply post 3 a.m. Eastern Time on Monday. If you require learning accommodation, please click this link and it will give you instructions on how to apply for that accommodation. Please make sure you double check Unity's honor code, and there are some expectations listed here and much more on the actual honor code. Turnitin checks for originality. So what it will do is look to see if there are any other papers in the database that use the same wording as wording that you have used, and it will flag it. The way to use that is to submit your work early, look at your Turnitin report, and then go back and make modifications. You can read here about academic dishonesty, plagiarism. The most important thing is that when you use information from other sources to properly document it, make sure that you're giving credit for the original work. If you use generative AI, so generative AI is like ChatGPT. Grammarly now has a generative AI feature to it, so a lot of times if you are using Grammarly to generate text, it might flag it as AI. The way I would use it is to allow those programs to check your grammar and to maybe make suggestions, but I would originally write that myself. If you do use it, you need to make sure that you also cite the use of it. And I will post a link in the announcements that will take you to a place that shows you how to properly cite generative AI. If you have any issues in Canvas or with your email, the best place is to contact Unity's technical support. There is an email and then a phone number here that you can reach them. At the end of the syllabus, you will see due dates by week. One thing I want to point out is when you have a discussion that requires you to respond to other individuals, like here in week 5, it will say that it's due Monday at 3 a.m., but your initial post is going to be due on Thursday at 3 a.m., and your reply is due the following Monday. So if we come in here to that particular discussion, you can see here that we have an initial post that's due Thursday, and then the response post that's due by Monday. If we go back to the syllabus, it only listed the Monday, and that's because that's that final deadline for the last piece of that assignment to be done. Now let's go in and look at how the course is set up. Over here, if we click on modules, we see that the course is set up with 5 modules. Each module represents a week in the course. And if I click on this, it'll drop down and it'll give me everything that's in that particular week. So if we start with the overview, we can see that it gives us a little bit of a background and then the objectives for the week. It also gives us all of the weekly activities. So I could click on each one of these here, or I can just go to the next page by clicking next. What's going to happen when I click next here is it's actually going to go to the first thing here, which is introductions. And then if I go to the next after that, it's going to go to week 1 learning materials. So it's going to go down this list every time I hit this next button. We can see the introductions there. We can see the learning materials, and often the learning materials you're going to want to drill down on these because they're going to open up and show you some more information there. Below each of the assignments, you will see a grading rubric. When you hand something in, you want to make sure before you hand it in that you go back and you look at that grading rubric to make sure that you followed all the instructions and everything in your assignment is included. You only have one discussion. Your first one is just introducing yourself. But here, if we go into this week 5 discussion, you see if I scroll down, there is not a rubric. I can click here to show rubric. The other place I can look at it is up here in these 3 little dots. Come down and show rubric. For assignments, it's always right underneath it, but for discussion, you often have to either click on those 3 little dots or scroll down and click on the view rubric. To post a discussion, you'll just hit reply, and then you'll put your discussion post in there and hit reply. Now, when you get ready to respond to somebody else's, underneath theirs, you can see where you can reply to them. So let's take a look at some of the other things that are over here. One of the things you can do to look at all of your assignments, if I come down here and I click on assignments, it will show me the full list of assignments in the course. I can click on grades to see my grades. We have a link here for library resources. So if you have something where you need to do some library research, or you need to cite something and you need to learn how to do that properly, Library Resources has that. So as far as citation goes, if I clicked on Library Resources, if I come down here to this research process, step-by-step guide, click on that. See right here it says cite. I could come here, APA citation examples, and it'll give me an example for how to do each of those things. If it's a book chapter, a printed article, a book online journal article, it shows us those APA citation styles. I will be posting weekly announcements that go over some of the assignments to try to help you with some of the more challenging aspects of the assignments. You always want to come and look at those. They should populate here, but you also can click on announcements here and the list of announcements would show up there. So I encourage you to always look for those announcements when you come into Canvas. Those video announcements can often save you quite a bit of time doing your assignments. I want to welcome you to the course. If you have any questions throughout the semester, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can first email me here using this inbox tool, and then we can either address that via email or we can arrange to meet virtually. I look forward to working with you this semester.